Many of us have taken to wearing masks these days to protect ourselves from airborne viruses, or simply enjoying the Halloween spirit. Then isn't it about time we trained with one? You'll have to pardon the leftover Halloween costume and this replica of a 17th century plague doctor mask, but I wore it to make a point. I wasn't looking at my reload. Today, we're going to share with you a technique that I've adopted to be able to make revolver reloads at speed by feel alone. I don't profess to have invented the technique. Few, if any, innovations these days prove novel if you search the history of shooting far enough. Thus far, however, I've not found anyone demonstrating the method I use to index the cartridges in the Speedloader with the chambers in the cylinder. Since it lends to doing so vision-free, we'll call this the Plague Mask Reload. Whatever technique you're using for reloading, you've got to line up 6 cartridges in the Speedloader with the 6 charge holes in the cylinder. And that's a lot more challenging and time-consuming than finding a 7/8 by 1 1/4 inch hole with a magazine in their bottom-feeding Glock. You'll find 2 schools of thought regarding reloading a revolver. One is that momentarily glancing down and looking the rounds into the cylinder guarantees the surest, faster reload. The second is to keep your head up to maintain situational awareness. Until recently, I took the former approach, looking my reloads into the cylinder. That can sometimes be disorienting when you look back up at the target array. Furthermore, oftentimes you're reloading while moving between shooting positions. If your head's down looking at your reloads, you might sometimes overrun your shooting position, or worse yet, trip and fall. Looking at this next example, to the left of the barricade are 3 cardboard targets, 1 non-threat, and a steel target that triggers a disappearing out and back. From the current position, you only see the first 2 targets on either side of the non-threat. After engaging the second target, I do a reload on the move en route to the forward barricade to get line of sight to the remaining targets. I look down at my reload, then the orange fault line marking the edge of cover. The differing perspective causes me to bring the gun up on the steel, thinking the third target was the second I'd already engaged. I lose perhaps 3/10 of a second transitioning back to engage the third target. Had my eyes been on the target array while approaching the barricade, I would not likely have made that error. The final reason I favor reloading by feel: many matches here in New England will shoot 1 to 2 stages on an indoor range, in low light or blacked out conditions with just a flashlight. You'd better be able to complete these reloads sight unseen. Let's see how this technique actually works. The finger technique takes advantage of the fact that the cylinders on all my revolvers have flutes, this area that has been machined out to reduce weight between adjacent charge holes within the cylinder. Grip the body of the Speedloader in the palm of your hand with the index finger forward of the bullet noses between any 2 adjacent cartridges. Cradling the revolver into your hand with the cylinder open. Position the thumb on one of the flutes. If, when you open the cylinder, your thumb ends up on a high spot, just simply softly rotate the cylinder until your thumb indexes with one of the flutes. Whatever flute it indexed with doesn't matter. Bring the Speedloader and your index finger into the flute. You're just trying to touch the end of your index finger to your thumb in the flute area. Gently touch the rounds to the face of the cylinder and flex the finger down until the top 2 rounds snap into the charge holes. Then drive the Speedloader forward and release. Again, index the thumb in the flute, bring the index finger to the thumb, press down on the pad until the index and forward. Press down with the pad of the index finger to find the chamber holes. With the Safariland Speedloader, The rounds release when the extractor star here actually presses in on the center star. You can either release the rounds by pressing forward on the body of the Speedloader, or the way I prefer is to simply drive the back of the Speedloader forward with the palm of the hand and let it fall. Since the technique is predicated on positioning your index finger between two adjacent rounds on the Speedloader, you're going to want to make sure that you stow the Speedloader in the carrier on your belt in exactly that position. By ensuring that your finger is between the rounds when you stow the Speedloader, when you come up and out, that's the way you're going to retrieve it. Here's a profile perspective at normal speed. And in slow motion at 1/4 speed. A head-on view. And a head-on view at 1/4 slow motion speed. And if you like looking down at your reloads, it works just as well that way too. So if your bird-beak plague mask is preventing you from seeing your reloads, or you simply prefer keeping your head up while reloading your revolver on an IDPA stage, then try the Plague Mask Revolver Reload. If the technique works for you, or you have your own hint, tip, or suggestion to share, please post a comment and tell us about it. Click below and share with your circle of sporting revolver aficionados. Most of all, be sure to like and subscribe. That notwithstanding, you might be surprised to learn the Plague Doctor Mask was actually somewhat effective in preventing the spread of the plague. Check out the intriguing history in the bottom right.